Hey, we finally made it past the
Made it to step 2.
I'm sorry, everyone. Hopefully you're getting some value on this.
Dude, everybody else, here's the problem. Everybody else in these tutorials, they're just like, oh, click this, click this, click this. And they never explain why. If you don't know why, when Google makes a change or an adjustment or whatever, you need to optimize, you are without tools. So I think the why, and I'm justifying our banter here a little bit, but I think the context is really important.
If I talk with a client for 30 minutes, it's 25 minutes of education and a 5-minute decision.
Yeah.
I can't come to the client and be like, hey, should I use TCP or TROAS? You're like, I have no idea. So now if I say, here's how this is going to work, how we can imagine, what can we get expect? Oh, well then, yes, I agree. It makes logical sense to go that way. So I think that's where this goes. It's almost like, a doctor explaining the risks before surgery. You can walk again, but your left leg's gonna be numb. Okay. It's that pretty much that big decision because it could be the life or death of your company. So you need to know why.
You need to know. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, locations, fairly simple. So we can kind of skip that part. If you're building a Performance Max campaign, you don't know what this is. Don't
go back and learn Google Ads.
Right.
This actually kind of pisses me off because people ask questions in the comments. Well, how do I target a specific location? And I'm like, you obviously didn't open this up at all. Like, try to do the first 10% first, and then we'll dive into the deeper questions.
Yeah, this is more of an advanced level. And this is an advanced YouTube channel. So, as an example, like all of our stuff is usually like really nitty gritty, high advanced stuff. You want the simple tutorial about how to start Google Ads? That's not us. But come here when you're ready. And languages. Here is now a change to the original SOP, depending upon channel. Because Performance Max is going to go omni-channel to 7 channels at Google, and Ed Leak, if you're watching this, I mean multi-channel. He always makes fun of me for omni-channel, saying that's an American thing. But
damn,
omni-channel, multi-channel,
Freedom Channel.
There's only one A in America.
Red, white, and blue channel.
This channel doesn't run. So in the languages here, typically if you're running search, you run this thing as all languages because you're bidding on a keyword, unless you have a Spanish speaker that's Googling English speaking keywords that doesn't speak English. Like, who cares? It doesn't make sense. Just run all languages. However, if you're going to be running Performance Max, you need to choose this language. This is actually now more important than ever because I'm going to be running on YouTube channels, on display channels. I'm going to be running everywhere.
I have a challenge to this.
Oh, yeah.
And now I want to be wrong because I'm talking to you and I'm used to it. But Performance Max has really advanced audience segmentation, and you can target people that have, for instance, visited this website or searched for this search term. So if you know that your audience segment is going to be that specific, would you remove English just to hurdle any like browser restriction issues?
Nope. And the reason is because Google members, the audience signals are polite suggestions that Google will advance out of. And if I am targeting, let's say, a competitor, so people who visit this website, then that person that has visited that website, I have no control over their organic traffic that have been to them from all different walks of life. So if you hop into any analytic account, you're going to see in your geographies like 88% America. Then you always have like, Russia, India, Pakistan, Australia. You're going to have all these different areas.
What are you saying, John? You know what just occurred to me is look what's missing in locations.
The
people in or regular or interested in.
Yeah, I know.
So what do you think that means? Are they giving us people in or interested in?
100%. And I think what's so funny is because of the way that they're measuring it and optimizing against it.
It's goal based. Who cares?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. It sucks. You're right. And it's so good. But yeah, that's right. It's so very, very true. It's like
you hover over the select locations to target the question mark, the button. I'm just curious. Oh, they actually come out and say it.
Yeah.
Gosh, how bold.
I know.
Like, hey, we're selling you crap that you don't need.
So funny.
That is hysterical. All right, cool. So languages, choose the language that you want to target.
Especially now for that reason.
Dude, really? I mean, that actually makes a really big difference, doesn't it?
Right. I mean, it just think about all the people that are interested in your country.
100% accuracy is not always guaranteed. Yeah, no BS at Google.
So funny is like 100% accuracy is like never guaranteed in anything.
Yeah.
I love it. And in Google land anyway. So that's why you set it goal-based. So perfect. Choose your country, choose your language that your audience speaks. Oh, this is amazing. Final URL expansion. I love this so much. This gives you so many new sculpting capabilities. So this is new. This is the DSA element to now all the channels of Google. What the DSA element is the dynamic search ad element, which means if Google believes that a specific page to an audience member is going to be more relevant than the page that you want them to go to, Mr. Ever or Mrs. Advertiser, they're going to choose that instead. But they'll still go to the page you want them to as a default unless they believe it's not going to be as helpful.
But how does that work for ecom? Because if Google's using my ecom feed in order to, I love it when you smile like that because it just lets me know I'm about to be wowed. And they're going to click on a product ad. Why would you send them to anything else but that product page?
Very little now traffic clicks on the product.
That was straight up Yoda speak. What did you say?
Very little go here now. So essentially,
That was awesome.
But that hurt my throat. So inside of the asset group, you're actually going to say, okay, go to this page here based on the feed items that I have, and also in relation to the assets I have in my asset group. And it's probably going to be a little bit more easy to identify when we actually build out the asset group. But for example, and we'll use the shampoo thing again. You sell shampoos and conditioners, and I'm going to build an asset group for shampoos. My landing page I'm actually going to go to are my pages of all shampoos. The ad you click on could be an image ad, could be a YouTube ad, could be a product ad. And then you would go to the product page, but it could be a GSP ad, could be a local ad, could be anything. All of those other ads besides the feed are going to go to the page I designate, unless it says the people that usually click on this ad usually buy that product, and then they might just send it right to that product page. Could be a different product. It's all based on historical conversions and essentially patterns that they.
That's really interesting. So because you have acquisition products that earn the click but never earn the purchase, and what Google's going to start doing potentially here is using those acquisition products as the ad, but instead of letting the user navigate to the end product, Google's going to drive them there directly. Yep. So you can actually have an intentional break in continuity from click to purchase, from click to land.
Or you can have an intentional break in continuity, except for something like what. So you know what? You can send traffic to any page on my site in my shampoo campaign. However, you are not allowed to send them to my blog or my conditioners. Pretty cool. And now I can say,
part of me is even tempted to keep the blog there, because if you get a badass blog on a certain type of shampoo and Google identifies that as high converting content value, like, you know, maybe that helps for top and middle of the funnel. Who knows? Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is, and challenge me on this, but for anybody watching, be careful with your exclusions. Like Google's gotten pretty damn good at figuring shit out. I would let them expand first, and then if it doesn't hit the nail, then maybe narrow it down from there.
Yeah, the problem is though, when it expands, you can't identify it. Unless you actually in that.
Wait, you don't see the landing page, the acquisition page?
Not yet, anyway. No.
That is
the reason being is they said, well, you know what, they could have had. It's like, okay, so after 7 visits and interactions on 4 channels and landing pages on 3 different pages, what are you going to exclude now? It's like, well, crap, I don't know, because the next person is going to go through a completely different funnel. So their exclusion list actually makes a lot of sense to never exclude, because you don't know if that one blog convinced that one person that was searching for this 2 days ago on YouTube. That, like, I mean, there's so many things here.
Performance Max is built on the paradigm of multi-touch.
Bingo.
Yeah. So you want to be real careful about what touches you get rid of, because you don't know what the influence was.
Yeah, exactly.
And it could be the blog you said, but different. So it's like I contributed.
Well, no, but you're getting it. And it's the same exact thing. So what I've been usually using as a default is I still send it to a landing page or a group of pages, or sorry, a page with a group of products or something like that I like. And unless it's a landing page that I just need to drive traffic to because it's completely different than everything else on the website, which it just means, hey, it's a bad setup.
Yeah, that's a funnel. Like if you're go on Facebook ads, you funnel freaks. Well, let me ask you this. We said there's no golden rules, or very few golden rules. Is the golden rule for Performance Max URL expansion?
Unless you're trying to drive a specific conversion. So it's like, this is my white paper campaign. and I need to only send them to this page and not my
So I'm
home
educating
page.
an audience and I need them to go through the funnel because they have to be, this is a prerequisite from a conversion perspective.
Or because it's going to capture some brand traffic and I don't want to bypass my white paper page and go right to my home page and get a conversion that's not being counted. Like there's some specific use cases.
But for the most part, the
for the most
80-20
part,
is URL expansion.
Exactly.
Okay.
URL expansion. I like that. Ad schedule, again, e-commerce.
Day.
Yeah, pretty much. And then even if you're lead generation, day as well.
Day.
It's because multi-touch.
Goal-based. Yeah. It's like, what do you, man, this is no more time spent on this, John. If anybody, I don't understand why we have to fight people here. It's like, people aren't on the internet except Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Yeah, I know. And it's sort of, I think because we're so deep into this thing, like the person that invented some new WYSIWYG that he's cured blindness with is gonna be like, no, this is the only choice. And everyone's like, okay, well, just tell me why. But we have to shift an entire industry for the last decade about what keyword sees what ad that goes to what page. That's gone. It's all gone. And it's gone.
So what I like about what Google was saying in their new documentation, they were talking about 500 touch point conversion paths. Did you see that?
I believe it. I've seen it in real life. Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, like how inundated. And here's the thing, too. If you solely focus on the bottom of the funnel, you will lose.
I'm going to share my screen real quick. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Two data points that I thought were really compelling that Google put out. COVID catalyzed a 70% increase in consumer buying online.
I believe
Makes perfect sense. We blew up. The digital world exploded. Now, I realize that this is opaque and ambiguous for some purchases, but this is the way we now need to think. People are so click to buy focused. It's like, no, you have to just love on them. You have to be there and be an ever-present reality in their entire digital existence. And if it takes 500 touch points before purchase, guess what? We have the tools for that now. And that's what Performance Max brings about. Right.
I'm going to reduce this down to the ridiculous. Pooper scoopers. Just go with me on this one. That's
great. Let's do this. I'm so excited.
Yeah. All right. So what keyword and what landing page converts the most pooper scoopers?
I'm going to assume pooper scooper.
Probably. But who Googled pooper scooper? The person who found out what a pooper scooper was. How did they find out what a pooper scooper was? A YouTube video, possibly a TV commercial. Focusing on the bottom of the funnel is good. You want to start there. You don't want to stay there. That's what Performance Max does. Is if you focus on the bottom of the funnel, when that audience dries up, you're done. You got to restart all over. So this is that way. That bottom up funnel. Start with the bottom, expand up, build your own.
So I want to toot your horn a little bit because when did you coin the bottom up funnel? Was that 4 years ago?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like
it was when I spoke at MDMC. It was my first MDMC talk.
Because it's got to be 2018 or something like that. Yeah, probably.
So John coined something called the bottom up funnel. We were going through all this training and education for digital marketing, and everything was all funnel based. And everybody, the entire global narrative was you start at the top of the funnel and then you trickle down. And there's dilution at every single layer until you get to the bottom where maybe they buy. And John's whole thing was the reason we became a Google Ads agency, actually, because we used to be a full funnel agency, is you said, well, why would I start where we make money? Like, why would I start at the bottom of the funnel? Now, and don't live there, travel up. Performance Max is exactly that. It starts at the bottom of the funnel, shows where the purchases are, and then shows where the interests are that led to those purchases so you can travel up the funnel. It's exactly what you've been saying for half a decade, but systemized.
Yep, it's probably how I would have built this. It's amazing.
Quick question about start and end dates. I still believe that when you put end dates in, Google deprioritizes your campaign. Do you believe that too?
Not really.
It just sounds good to say.
It sounds good. I know it's funny because GMC, your promotion actually lives, like, for example, in a GMC sale, they give you a better placement during a sale, and that is Live and Dying by GMC. And we run so many different sales. I've never seen them like kind of trickle off towards the end. It was like, and it died. They're like, already started really well. So it almost seems like they try to push it more so that when it does die, it's like, like it was going so good before we stopped paying Google.
Interesting. So maybe everything should have an end date just to scare Google into thinking we're going to stop spending.
I would think, wake up every day and change to tomorrow.
You earned your keep today, Google.
Right? Cool. All right, let's keep going here. This is getting into the fun part now. Asset groups. This is kind of like ad groups, only groups of assets. Got it? Good. Let's keep going. So asset groups are where all of your pieces of ad copy live. You get to have 15 images, 5 videos, a logo, up to 3 or up to 5, I think. I don't know why you'd have 5 logos, but 15 images, 5 logos, 5 videos, 5 headlines at 30 characters, 5 long headlines at 90 characters, and 5 descriptions at 90 characters. Actually, 160 characters, but I digress. This is where everything lives. Remember how responsive display ads came out, and it was like, you get to put all of your cool pieces of content here, and then it builds it, makes it nice. And then responsive search ads came out, and it was like, you get to put all of your headlines and descriptions here, and then it builds it, makes it nice. Think about macro scale now. It's all of your pieces of content and where it lives, and then that goes here. Also attach feed items here, and then blast out to everywhere. So it's kind of just an expansion on the responsive display and responsive search ads. That's how to think about this. Again, in the middle of the screen, this part here is going to be blurred out. My apologies. That's our client name.
We're also blurring out the final URL.
Yeah, and the final URL here as well. So that part there, actually, we can unblur now. So this is, you'll see, as I want to kind of share this example here. But we might have to blur this one, and I apologize, but I'll show you what I mean. Very simple if you've ever built a standard or even smart shopping campaign. Very, very, very simple, but I need to explain it. So let's begin. So an asset group. This will make a little bit more sense when we build the audience signals down at the bottom, but an asset group is basically saying, I believe that these images, headlines, and videos to this audience, no matter where we find them, is going to perform well. Well, that is basically now a gigantic A/B test and another A/B test at the same time. So simply speaking, very
A/B test squared.
Basically, yeah. And so you get ad copy, and then you can replicate that ad copy and go to one audience, or you can have one ad copy and then 2 audiences, or choose the winner and do it all over again. Like there's endless amounts of testing now that you could do. And I love it. It's really, really, really cool.
Well, and this is again to the point that you've been making. This is where the golden rules die. Like this is so business specific. Who's your avatar? What media do you have to put in front of them? Where are they in the sales cycle? Like you need to get creative here, and that's your job. Like we're not going to be able to give you the whole kit and caboodle right here just in this video.
Right. Can you cross-sell them? Can you upsell them? What do they come back and purchase? What is their first purchase? And where do they find out about you? This is where the golden rules are not known by any means, but I will share with you all of the ways I think you should start, and then how to identify what's working. So the first one I'm gonna do is actually my favorite one. It's called interests. Whoa, I thought I was typing. There we go. Interests and demographics. I can't type. Interest in demographics. This is actually my favorite one because Google has just blown up in terms of all of the ways that you can segment people. We have a client that sells pet things, and that's all I can say about that. They sell pet things, and I actually targeted planning to add a dog or planning to add a cat, and recently added a dog and recently added a cat, like to the household or family.
Dude, that is insane.
Crazy. Yep.
Insane.
So in this,
can I pause there? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, here's what John said. That planning to add a dog is a category inside of Google's audiences. Was it affinity or in market? I imagine in market. Have to
in
be.
market.
Yeah. So it's a category inside of Google's available targeting. And we've seen categories go down to the flavor of salsa that people are shopping for. So Google's targetability, Google's categorization is so in depth. I had one client who, I'm trying to think about who this was. This is actually a prospect. Oh, he teaches public speaking, which that's pretty niche. That's a pretty niche industry. Google had a category. They had 3 or 4 of them actually that all applied to people interested in learning how to public speaking. Like,
there you go. Perfect.
So in depth. I bet money your category is in Google's interests. So as we're talking about this, don't think that demographic targeting is broad, because that's the way Google has trained us. This is Usama's line, so I'm going to steal it. Google now is kind of functioning like Facebook. Interest-based segmentation got so freaking granular almost overnight. It's insane.
Yep. I swore on a sales call yesterday.
Like a curse word?
Like a curse word. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know. 4 letters and everything.
Yeah.
And but it was so funny because I didn't care. I was so amazed. I'm trying to show it. I was like, hey, what do you sell? The person's like, I'm not gonna actually say the term, but I'll use this one: blue light blocking glasses. And I have a background of the blue light blocking glasses. I'm like, okay, so here's what Performance Max could do. And I went down and I searched for it. It was like people who are about to buy blue light glasses, and I'm like, that's amazing. And he goes, oh my god, that's amazing. It was literally like, here's your audience, sir. Like I couldn't get any better.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So, and that's what we're talking about. You start at the bottom of the funnel, but then you're going to run out of those people pretty quickly, right? But then you get to move up the funnel.
And Google will tell you who they are.
Y'all, this is why Performance Max is so game-changing. It's so game-changing. Sorry, keep going.
No, that's perfect. So let's do this. Let's do interest demographics. Let's pick something. Wallets. Perfect. Let's try wallets. I don't even know if it's going to work yet, but let's just do wallets for fun. So let's say my interest demographic, I know I'm going to target the people who are interested in wallets and about to buy a wallet. So now the products, here's what I need to do is I'm going to say, well, do I want to have all my products shown because I'm wallets are amazing by john.com, or is it just 10 of my 100 SKUs are wallets? Well, I'm going to test just the wallets. So you can actually use a selection of products, and these selection of products, you can sort by all of these typical product selections. So I'm going to choose one. We're probably going to have to blur it, so my apologies. Item ID. Yeah, there it's all branded there. I'm so sorry. This is item ID. But anyway, let me just go to category here, actually, and then we can go back. Okay, so let's just say you choose just a list of products that you have. Let's just imagine that one says wallets and there's 10. Again, I'm just teaching here. I'm not actually doing this yet. So now I have all of my products here that I know I'm going to be showing shopping and remarketing product ads to, as well as display product ads and YouTube product ads. So anywhere that a smart shopping campaign would show a product ad, that's exactly what's going to happen here on top of more.
And more.
And more. But wait, and then what's cool is, well, what about the file URL? That's interesting. So if I'm just going to go to our website here for a moment. So solate.com, I need that right there. And then what there was /wallets.
Yeah.
And imagine that's existing. So now perfect. Final URL expansion is /wallets. And that's my page of all my wallets. Perfect. I know it doesn't exist. Oh, we have to blur that out too. I'm so sorry.
So if you're watching this, we had to use a real client account because we had to have a feed already set up. So the reason that we're jumping through these hoops is because without it, we couldn't show you all the available options. So forgive us.
Solutions 8 doesn't actually sell wallets. Otherwise, it'd be a lot better video. So again, we have to blur that part right there. But again, this is where you put your final URL. Now, images. Again, just like building a regular ad. Add your 15 images. Add your 1 logo.
Can I comment on the 15 images?
Yeah.
If you have, because when you pull up an image inside of Google Ads and then Google gives you the ability to look at the aspect ratios, 1 image with 3 aspect ratios counts as 3 images.
Yep. Now I was actually going to be, sorry, I'm going to double back on this because I wanted to kind of share like I over-explain things. So I'm sorry. So let's do your way. This is a lot better. Again, the images you're going to see on the screen here are blurred, but you're going to add 15 images. Now, these 15 images, there are, I'm doing this from memory, 3 main sizes, 1:1, 1.93:1, 4:1. Those are 3 ratios. And you're going to want to have a minimum of 1,000 pixels, either by the shortest height or width that you're using. So on the
and if you don't remember that, when you try to upload images, Google will tell you
the
aspect ratio, size, and those things.
Just usually you can upload a bunch of images and then it says, hey, these qualify, and you can actually crop and choose. Very, very simple. Now, what type of images? I'm glad you asked, Kasim. The type of images that you should use are not product images. They're lifestyle in use images, remember, you already have a feed attached. You already have your product images. Do all of the images that are not product images specifically, because this is going to say, I'm introducing my brand products with these images. My product images that are already in my feed are going to do the standard white background and, close-up images. But if you want to have like, I'm having, I don't even know what these things are, the Soundcore headphones. I'm going to show it like a person like walking down the street listening to it. Like, I'm not just going to be like headphones. Exactly. So, or like, oh, like, that sounds good. I'm horrible at ads, you can tell. But you're going to use you're going to show the images you want a person to see for the first time that they see your product. So those are the images you want to use. Now, for the videos, you can have up to 5. They say a minimum of 15 seconds. My suggestion is use a minimum of 30. 30 seconds is the point where you actually get an accurate watch rate. The watch rate means, do they watch more than X amount of time, and how often do they, and how much do they skip it before they, or how much do they watch before they skipped, or did they skip it? So when you're under 30 seconds, you actually get a blank most of the time. It just says 0, like they won't give you that figure. So it's hard to tell you how many people are actually watching the videos, because if they watch more than 30 seconds, I can't tell you what happened. So
if you're not over 30 seconds, you're not eligible for in-stream, right?
Over 15 seconds is in-stream.
30 seconds is where in-stream is billed.
No, 10 seconds. Wait, no, 30 seconds now. I forget.
Yeah, in-stream is billed at 30. Yep. Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yep. No. So 30 seconds is billed, but the 30 seconds, the watch rate, I think is important, because as this is a self-learning algorithm, if Google can't identify if someone watched a video or not, or skipped or not, I don't think that that's probably going to send a good signal to Google that this is a person who's had an engagement. Remember, Google is no longer about clicks. It's about engagement. Watches are engagements. You can upload a 15-second video and Google will take it, use it Performance Max. But what I've seen is that when I run my Performance Max versus my custom intent versus my DSK, all of the other ways I've ever done YouTube before, Performance Max is 2x my watch rate every single time. So I was like, crap, you're just so much better at finding these people than I am, that I want to make sure that I can measure, are you actually engaging the people better than I am in my own YouTube campaigns? And so far it has, but I can only do that with a 30-second or longer video. So use 30 seconds or more whenever you can, and use the full 5 videos as much as possible. Reason being is that Google will actually develop an ad sequence. If you ever ran a YouTube ad campaign with a sequence before, you can know that Google will actually build it for you, or you can tell it what video to show first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Now, if you have 5 videos, Google will say, aha, Kasim needs to see video 2, 1, and 4, and then John needs to see 5, 1, and 3 in that sequence. If you don't have those videos, you can't build that sequence. So try to give it as many videos as you can.
And Google, the scariest thing in the whole wide world, will create videos for you if you don't upload videos.
Yeah, it's a awesome PowerPoint slideshow. It is horrible. It's like it's almost as bad as like blue light glasses. Like, hey, like they just coming out of nowhere. Like, it's bad. Yeah. So the squiggle drop.
Here's what's nuts is you can use any video on YouTube.
Yeah.
You don't have to use your own
technically. We had a client that's a reseller for a very large food company, and they had permission to use any one of their images or videos right off their website or YouTube channel. I was like, this is amazing. I could use their hard-earned hard work and dedication to build an amazing YouTube video, and I was going to grab it, stick it on my Performance Max campaign, drive traffic to my page that sells the exact same product.
But dude,
he's
you
like,
don't need permission. Like, we could use, let's say a competitor PPC agency, if they had a badass video, we could go use their video in our channel, and according to Google's terms of service and compliance requirements, we're fine. And now anybody who clicks on that video is going to our site and our customer.
Right. Just know this. Technically, you're always going to be safe. If you're an agency that starts doing that for their clients without their permission, they
might be really careful with that one. That's a good point.
Yeah. They might get a call one day and say, hey, you violated our reseller agreement. Uh-oh. So, always clear that with your clients for agency. But if you're a person that is not hindered by any sort of contractual restrictions, you can use any video public on YouTube.
You know what's funny is Sean, the CEO of High Level, he got a phone call because of the video that I was running for the affiliate campaign. Did you know that? Yeah. So I'm just going to say him because I don't like him, but SharpSpring. Oh, the CEO of SharpSpring called the CEO of High Level and was like, who the hell is this guy? And why are you going after us? And Sean was like, sorry, he's our affiliate. Anyway.
But there you go. That's exactly right. You can use any public video on YouTube technically. Just make sure that you're don't hurt any relationships in the process.
Yeah.
Okay, next, talk about headlines, long headlines, and descriptions. I'm going to say something dangerous here. Don't do it. But you can actually manipulate where ads are showing in Performance Max based on what assets you give it. So for example, if you don't want to run on YouTube, don't add YouTube videos. If you only want to run on search.
Whoa. Google will add videos for you if you don't add videos.
You can remove them though.
You can.
Mm-hmm. And then you can add, and as example, the long headlines are not found on Google search. The headlines and descriptions are. So if you only
don't have headlines and descriptions, you won't show up in Google search. Dude, that is a wicked ninja trick. You could start to sculpt your Performance Max campaigns. Yeah.
So let's just say, hey, I want to run a Performance Max campaign on search. Good. Just use your headlines and your descriptions. Don't add long headlines, don't add imagery, don't add video. And then if Google makes a video, you can remove it. But you can actually add only headlines and descriptions. And now what you've essentially done is developed a search campaign on Performance Max utilizing amazing Performance Max targeting and only being on the search network. Partially is you're probably going to have crappy performance. It's not going to be a good Performance Max campaign and it's probably going to fail.
Yeah, I was going to say, why would you want to do that? What's the use?
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to say something dangerous. Don't do it. But if you're like, I don't have, or it's like, I don't have a video.
Hacked it. You're like, I broke this. Let me show you how.
Well, you know, what's funny is Google's going to do it for you in June.
Yeah.
There's going to be a one-click upgrade button. And then that one-click upgrade button, your your smart shopping campaign is going to turn into Performance Max without ad assets. So it's like, cool. It's
so stupid because it's
smart shopping under a new name. And they're like, yeah, like, all right. But so you can do that. And if you're, competing agency of solutions, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
But just know that that's there. So I do have people like, I only have like 3 images, but I have like a bunch of amazing videos and everything else. And I'm like, okay, well, let's just use 3 images. May not run all the time in discovery because that 4:1 aspect ratio we don't have yet. Whatever it may be. So just know that
what people need to know is Google's thirsty. Google is going to rip through media, and you're going to have to keep re-upping media.
Yeah, and I saw a campaign the other day that was in Performance Max, and they didn't have any imagery and they didn't have any videos, and the ad strength was poor. And it got to me that there's a lot of people out there, especially agencies, unfortunately. Usually I don't see this for a lot of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are like, they're hungry and they want everything to perform at its best. There's a lot of like lazy agencies out there, and it's like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like you're just shooting yourself in the foot. It's like it just don't do it. There's no reason to. So
just don't do it. Exactly. One quick note: don't click view suggestions because we'll have to blur all that. But I've seen really solid copy come out of Google recently.
Yeah, and they scan your landing page, and that's actually part of the DSA. Which I hate it and I love it at the same time. So if they find a DSA campaign of another landing page performs better, it's not out yet, but they said that the DSA elements being further built out, which means that potentially they can start writing their headlines for you based on your site title and site descriptions.
Dude, they're just gonna, yeah. Me. I'm so sick of this automated.
Well, I love it. But so let's talk about this. So let's go through this part here. I'm just going to add some bad things. So let's do this. I'm just going to stop sharing because I'm going to probably have to fill in like their actual URL and stuff like that. But just imagine I'm adding a whole bunch of awesome imagery and video that.
Imagine we were creative.
I know. Imagine I knew what I was doing. All right, cool. I'm going to choose. Cool.
It's interesting that Performance Max even allows you to launch with partial ad assets. I would assume that like the headlines, long headlines, and whatever are prerequisites.
Yeah, well, what's funny is you'd think so, and I have a feeling it's gonna be. I have a feeling that right now, just to get everyone involved in Performance Max, like, hey, you don't need it, and then it's like,
it's easy, kids, come on in.
Remember what happened with Smart Shopping? You could launch a Smart Shopping campaign without an ad, and then you launch a Smart Shopping campaign, and all of a sudden, ad required. They're gonna do that. I guarantee you that's gonna happen. But right now, to get everyone just kind of like their taste into how it works, they're gonna allow you to run it without ads.
Google's like drug dealers.
At first, it's always free. That was horrible writing ad copy. Patience and Brian, I do not envy your job. Okay. So, okay. I think I can share my screen now. We're going to still have to keep that little thing blurred over here on the right-hand side and then blurred right here. So unfortunately, just unblur this section right here. There we are. And I'm going to talk about that for a moment. So the calls to action, I know I don't have wallets on my website. The calls to action here are, and now we can unblur this section. The calls to actions can be automated or can be chosen. Of course, it's always going to be recommended to be automated because Google's going to say, well, the people that click contact us versus the people that click learn more, they convert twice as much. Yeah, I mean, I'm more of like, if your e-commerce shop now always usually seems to be the best. And if your lead generation, you have it in yours, like schedule a call now. Well, book now probably makes the most amount of sense. So use your best judgment here.
So my only fear here, and the reason that I like automated, is because of the URL expansion. If Google starts sending different people to different pages, depending on what's on the pages, it stands to reason that the calls to action that match whatever the CTA on the page is going to perform better. And if Google can put that together algorithmically, then I want to give it that latitude.
100%. Then that, I mean, it's funny because I almost want to use automated all the time.
Golden rule.
Well, unless the client says like, why does it say book now on my e-commerce site? Like, you know, it's like, I don't know why Google did that. Right. And trust me, it works. Like that's the part too, is I think as an agency versus if you're doing it for yourself, there's things that you are okay with testing, getting away from that will just get yelled at for. So
it's funny some of the stuff we get yelled at for.
I know, right? It's funny. I don't like the way you made me more money that way. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter. All right.
Wait, before you go, I'm constantly looking for amazing people to come join our team. So if you're passionate about Google Ads and you're passionate about customer success, please go to solate.com/apply. And we'd love to see you as a part of the Solutions 8 team. Also, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. It lets the YouTube algorithm know that we actually know what we're doing. And don't forget to subscribe. We shoot a video every single day, and I don't want you to miss out on any of it. Lastly, if you have questions, comments, concerns, confessions, or you just hate my face and my voice, go ahead and hit us up in the comments. We get very little human interaction, and even the heckling is something that I kind of get a kick out of. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being subscribers if you're a subscriber. Don't forget to apply if you're interested in working at Solutions 8. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.